You are wired to create. The best feeling in the world is doing creative work. The two steps to living the good life: harnessing your creativity, making a living off it, and sharing it to the world. Like all great questions, this one stems from a Joe Rogan clip. Why do humans create technology? Why are we always trying to rapidly advance and evolve technology? Why does Elon Musk build these crazy, outright scary projects? We are wired to. It is our primal instinct. Because of humans' intellectual expansion compared to other species, we have more primal instincts. Procreation isn't our only primal instinct. Building tools and technology is another one. Technology, the application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life. In other words, using knowledge to fulfill the primal goals of humans. So, what are our primal goals? Humans are innately lazy. We are always striving to make our lives more efficient, easier, and less sufferable. Thus, our main purpose besides reproducing is creating technology. Humans are always evolving technology to make life more efficient, easier, and less sufferable. Primal goal: suffer less. Solution: create new technology. It is human nature to invent and evolve technology. Everything in the universe must evolve. That is the law of the universe: evolve or die. A fundamental principle of life is creation. It is our primal instinct to create. Why is orgasm one of the greatest sensations man can experience? So we have the incentive to reproduce. So with this logic, creation is one of the greatest sensations man can experience. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't create. If we didn't create, we would suffer, giving us less of a will to survive and reproduce. Think about the last time you worked on a project. Not for school or for work, but for yourself. Try to remember how you felt. Have you ever wondered why dads love Home Depot so much? It's because humans love to build. We love to create things. Creation is one of the most effective forms of delayed gratification. Using creativity to build something tangible is one of the best dopamine rushes man can experience. So if creation makes us so happy, why do only a select few create? Why does everyone only produce meaningless work? If you do not create, you will be assigned to build someone else's creation. Let's go back to the beginning when I said the best feeling in the world is doing creative work. Dopamine directly underlines divergent thinking. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman. In other words, being creative produces dopamine. And the more dopamine you have, the more creative you are. The key to living the good life is making a living off creation. That's the big idea of this entire rant. Again, the key to living the good life is making a living off creation. So we've established that creation is so important and why we must create. Now, the real question is, how can we create for a living? How can creation be our life's work? Some of you may even be asking, how do I create? Many of you have this limiting belief that you're not creative. Creativity is a skill that has been stripped away from you by jobs and schools. It's not that you're not creative. It's that you've been programmed to be uncreative. You are programmed to think the same as everybody else. It takes time and repeated effort to learn how to become creative. Warning, once you do, you never go back to robotic work. How do you become a creative person? There are 3 steps to the cycle of creativity. Researching about your own interests. Going deeper, reflecting off, writing off your own discoveries. By then, you'll have some ideas and enough clarity to create something. By creating something, you become creative. The reason you're not creative is because you're not creating anything. Start this cycle and you'll be shocked of your creative ability and what your mind comes up with. You cannot create something that doesn't exist in your mind. The other reason why you're not creative is you have nothing to create off of. You haven't gone deep enough in the realm of discovery. Another habit you've probably developed from school is researching incorrectly. People think that researching is finding information for some stupid capstone project. Research should be enjoyable. You should enjoy learning about the things you love. Creativity is a cycle, it doesn't end. After creating something new, you go back to step one. Every video starts with me expanding on an interest I have. Then I go deeper into that interest until an idea sparks. And once the idea sparks, I create a video about it. After the video, I restart the cycle and start researching again. Now that I've gone over the creativity cycle, what exactly do we create? To be creative, you must talk about whatever comes up in your mind about your interests. I say this because you cannot spark the same curiosity and creativity with something you don't care about. Here's an actionable step for you right now. It's called the pillars of content. Write down 3 areas of interest you want to write about. Example, health, self-development, online business. Try to make it broad. In each of these 3 areas, now divide them into topics. Example, health is divided into weightlifting, dieting, stretching. In each of these areas, make a notes page where you can note down mentors in this field of interest you have, authors or content creators, and note down the things you learn from them. Now you should have an idea of what your niche is and what your content should be about. The greatest niche is you. It is the only irreplaceable and inimitable niche. Dan Coe is one of my mentors that talks about this a lot, which is why I have to credit him for it. I've analyzed his information and come to the same conclusion. There is no niche better than you. Specific knowledge is knowledge that you cannot be trained for. If society can train you, it can train somebody else and replace you. Specific knowledge is found by pursuing your genuine curiosity and passion rather than whatever is hot right now. Naval. No one can replace you. No one can imitate you. One final step that people go wrong. Choose a boat and row as fast and as hard as you can. Twitter is a great platform for content. Instagram is a great platform for content. YouTube is a great platform for content. The caveat is you can't do all 3 yet. You'll be distracted by people that tell you to go into multiple forms of content on multiple platforms. They aren't incorrect, but you can't do that with your abilities right now. You cannot do short form content if your long form content sucks. If you're starting with short form content, the vice versa applies. Get good at creating your content first, then expand and evolve as it becomes easier to produce more quality content. Now I'm talking about all this, but why should we create content? Is it even possible to make a living creating content about yourself? At least for me, I found the most peace and enjoyability creating content. I love being creative and writing about my interests. Whatever form of business sparks your curiosity and creativity, do that. Content creation is just more of my area. The answer to the other question is yes. A personal business can make you 10 times more than your teachers. I'm not an authoritative figure on this subject yet because I haven't made any money, let alone 10 times my teachers, but I know it's possible. Knowing what you don't know is the first step to everything. The scariest thing is not knowing what you don't know. I vaguely know the personal business model path, and seeing it, I know it's possible. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I mention the personal business model, check out my other video on the path of an entrepreneur. I explain exactly what it is. I don't want to give advice on something I haven't done yet, but I can give you the vague path so at least you know it exists. You are not unique. As much as your ego wants to tell you that you're 1 in 8 billion, you're not different. Even with the weirdest interests, you'll still have millions of people interested in the same thing as you. Millions of interests equals millions of problems. The reason why the personal business model is so effective is because you're selling to millions of versions of you. Sell a solution that millions of versions of you need. You know your market best because your market is you. It's your interests. It's your problems. Solve your own problems and sell the solution. Dan Co. The Personal Business Model Cycle. Research your 3 pillars of content. Get experience. Solve your own problems. Spark new ideas. Build an audience with the same interests. Make your audience aware of their problem or the problem you had and inform them about your solution. Lastly, sell the solution. To recap everything we've discussed today, humans are wired to create. It is in our nature. We feel our best when doing creative work, higher dopamine levels. To live the good life, we must find a way to constantly be creating. Learn how to be creative. Use the creative cycle. Use the pillars of content to start creating content about your interests. Create your own niche. Stick to one platform. Learn to create quality content on one platform first. In the later future, sell the solution to the problems you came across. You are not unique. There are millions of versions of you. Hope this video helped. If you like this sort of content, check out my other videos. Subscribe to stay updated on future projects because these videos are getting better and more informative. That's it for this one. Rewire yourself to create.